Blizzard just teased some Diablo 4 Season 3 information, so we're going to go over that. Also, speaking of the teaser's got a mild bit of discussion around it because of, well, I'm just going to have to show you, it's actually quite funny. We're going to wrap that up by talking about what we can expect on the January 18th Diablo 4 update live stream, as there is some previous information they've discussed about that. All that and more in today's video. Stay to the end. Let's get going. Diablo 4 Season 3 has just launched a new teaser, and it's actually really funny. It's not a big deal, but the conversation around it has been sort of a meme. Let me show you what's going on here. Okay, so this right here is the Diablo 4 Season 3 teaser. Watch this real fast, real short. There's the intro. And then it goes right into Evo Looms. So effectively what we have here is it intros with Grinding Gears, which happens to be the name of Path of Exile's company is Grinding Gear Games. Now that itself wouldn't be enough to be any of coincidence, but when Grinding Gear Games intros their videos, it starts with, once you know it, Grinding Gears, and then gets into the teaser. So at the time when Diablo 4 has had a lot of conversation around Path of Exile, they intro it with the Grinding Gears. So there's been some discussion as to whether or not that was a smart choice to use for a teaser. However, I'm inclined to think it's maybe just a bit of a coincidence, though a funny one. But let's actually talk about what Season 3 is supposed to bring to the table. Now, if you remember BlizzCon for 2023, they actually talked a bit about Season 3. And here's some of the clips from that.
On to Season 3. We can't go into too much detail now, but with the endgame being so important, let's talk about leaderboards. We're creating a whole new type of weekly challenge dungeon called the Gauntlet, where the Heroes of Sanctuary can compete for their class ranking against their friends, their clan, or anyone in the world. Watch out, Mike Ibarra. I am coming for you.
So effectively, Season 3 is supposed to bring the Gauntlet, which is a challenge dedicated around the leaderboards. One of the conversations that Diablo 4 had at the launch was there's no way to track competition between each other, so people were sort of making websites, etc., in order to track their own races. And we actually recently hosted on Riker's channel, did the Diablo 4 Hardcore Solo Self-Found race, which is actually quite a bit of fun. So I'm of the opinion that leaderboards and races were something I originally didn't like at all, but when I shoutcasted it with Riker, I actually found it rather enjoyable to watch from more of a viewer commentary perspective. So I actually think leaderboards could be an interesting W with it. Now, in the BlizzCon's campfire chat, which followed, this was the conversation they had related to Season 3, The Gauntlet. So let's listen in to what they talked about then.
Moving on, we do have additional information to talk about Season of the Orange Text, as you called it.
That's right,
Joe.
We still don't have the
Joe,
name.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what's coming there?
Yeah, so more endgame.
More endgame.
Yeah. This is such a cool piece. This is relevant to the season, and I'm excited to find out what happens with this guy. But I want to talk a little bit about one part of Season 3. And there will be many more parts of Season 3. We're going to talk about these more in future campfire chats. But we wanted to talk a little bit about leaderboards, leaderboard-driven trials.
He wants it.
This guy wants it, and so we're going to make it.
Thanks, Guy.
We weren't going to make it, but... and so the way this is going to work is when Season 3 players reach World Tier 4, they're going to be able to compete in the Gauntlet, which is a fixed seed, non-linear dungeon where your mastery and your skill are going to be needed to achieve the highest scores.
So effectively what we have is a in-game activity. It is World Tier 4+, and you've saw in the first presentation they mentioned in-game, and this one here, Joe Shelley mentions in-game one more time. This is a fixed seed, meaning it is sort of like the challenge dungeons back in the day from Diablo 3. Effectively, everyone has exactly the same dungeon. There is no RNG around these like AOZ, for instance. So that way, when you are doing leaderboard competitions on it, it is completely fair, and that is one of the in-game activities that they were introducing. And we're not going to watch the full thing, but they go on to sort of show you a mock-up of this. You can see the solo barbarian ladder. There's rewards related to its scores. You can see your own rank and summary, and there's sort of a achievement rank that goes along with it, which I thought looked pretty cool for a leaderboard. However, just a ladder is not a full in-game. So what I'm excited to see here is we have another announcement. Now, this was tweeted out 22 hours ago on the Diablo Twitter here. You can see developer update live stream January 18th. So they have two different types of live streams. They have their campfire chats, which are the much more casual ones. And then they have these developer update live streams. Now, this one, like I said, is on January 18th here, which is 9 a.m. Pacific. I will be live on Twitch to cover this as well. And we'll have also a video following it, sort of breaking it down. So if you want to watch the full thing, I'll give you just the highlights of it. But this is the official developer update live stream. They say they're going to talk about new gameplay features, the quality of life, as well as the season details for season 3. Now, because of the BlizzCon presentation where they went up on stage and kept mentioning in-game, 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 and because season 1 was focused a little bit more on early game and quality of life, season 2 was early game and mid-game, I do believe Uber Durios and the Uber bosses were a nice solution to some of the mid-game issues. I don't think it solves an in-game grinding issue. I do expect to see season 3 adding more in-game content. If that is true, then we would have had mid-game in season 2, in-game added in season 3, and then season 4 is when we're supposed to get the largest change following, which is itemization changes. Itemization being the other most common complaint right next to in-game. So do not expect to see itemization changes announced in season 3 unless somehow they manage to update that timeline and hone it into season 3. I don't know how they could. They've been very vocal about it going into season 4, so I would expect we're just seeing more in-game content announced. Now, one of my favorite additions to their chats that they have is Adam Jackson, and he actually mentions that he's going to be covering season 3 class updates as well as other balance stuff. So I love to see that he's going to be going through the balance of the game at the moment. In my own personal opinion, class updates are probably needed. Hoda Barb sort of wrecks everything at the moment, or at least, I've felt dumb for not running Hoda Barb. There's ball lightning and all that. W to them for not nerfing this stuff mid-season, though, by the way. People were having fun with it, so they're having fun with it, but we've seen complaints around class balance, so I'm sure they're going to be addressing some of that during the live stream. It's also probably needed, I would assume, if they're making more in-game content. They don't want the current builds to trivialize all in-game content, so I don't know if I'm expecting to see nerfs or they bring everyone up to par and sort of around the same balance level, and then they add stuff with 1 billion more HP. I'm not sure how they're going to balance this one, to be perfectly honest with you, but I guess we'll find out here on the 18th. My favorite additional comment here is by my good friend Snuggy saying, and all the druid changes that are buffing pets, right? Please. How many of you forgot the druids actually have companions, by the way? And that is a build that you can do, though probably not recommended. Either way, we're going to be finding out here quite shortly on January 18th, 9 a.m. PST. We're going to get gameplay features, season journey, quality of life updates, and share information about the new competitive leaderboard system, the Gauntlet. Hopefully the Gauntlet is enjoyable in-game content loop, as that is currently seems to be their focus, or at least what they've communicated in the past going into season 3, and I expect that to be the primary focus of this season. With that being said, we're going to be live right now, as is normal. You can find the link down below, and I will also see you live for this January 18th update live stream. That's about it. Love y'all. See you in the next video.